Roy had walked the same road home for 20 years. Same cracked pavement. Same weary sidewalk trees leaning like tired men. Same rusted door to his building that creaked when the sun was high. But something was different today. It was lying at his feet. A book. Heavy. Dusty. Bound in deep brown leather with its corners curled up like dead leaves. It hadn't been there a moment ago. He would have stepped on it if not for the soft sound, a whisper almost, like paper rustling, though the wind was still. Roy wasn't a man of books. He could read simple things, signs, receipts, the prayer lines he had memorized since youth. This book, though, the moment his fingers touched it, a prickling sensation ran up his arm and settled in the back of his neck. He turned it over. No title. The pages inside were filled with a language he didn't know, twisting, curling letters that looked almost ancient, holy maybe, forbidden. His mouth went dry. Maybe it's the holy book, he muttered, guilt stabbing him. And someone dropped it. May God forgive them. Out of reverence, or fear, or both, he took it home. His apartment was as modest as ever. One television, one rug, one sofa. The kind of place where silence grew roots. He placed the book on the table and stared at it for a long time before opening it. The first page held only one word, written in thick blood-red ink. Return. Roy blinked, rubbed his eyes. He turned the page, nothing unusual, then back again. Return. Still there, still red. And now there was something more, a long brittle strand of hair, pressed between the pages, pale gold, coiled like it had been waiting. And just beneath the hair, new words had formed. Impossible, but there they were. Remove my hair from this book. Roy's lips parted, but no sound came. The hair looked too real, too human. He felt like it was watching him, or worse, listening. He shut the book hard as if it might bite. Trying to laugh it off, he muttered, "Ridiculous. It's probably just my eyes, or the heat." But the laughter died in his throat. The room felt colder than it had before. He turned the television on for background noise, then curled up on the sofa. Sleep came slowly. He woke in darkness. The air felt heavy, like a storm had rolled in, though the windows were shut. His throat was dry, and when he rose to wash, he noticed something strange. The front door to the building was open. Through the gap, under the flickering hall light, he saw her. A woman. She stood motionless, draped in a white cloth that reached the floor, her face hidden, her hands folded. Like a statue carved out of silence. Roy opened the door a little more.
"Excuse me, madam. Are you all right?" She didn't move. "Do you need help?" he asked again, stepping forward. Nothing. His mouth went dry. The longer he looked, the more wrong she seemed. Her presence stretched the air too tightly around her, like a hole in the world had opened and refused to close. He wanted to call someone. The police, maybe, but the neighbors would talk. A woman in his building at night. The gossip would never end. So he did what felt safest. He locked the building. "If you want," he whispered through the door, "you can come sit on the sofa. Just don't stand there in the dark." She didn't respond. Later, the lights turned off. Roy lay half-covered, watching the ceiling, pretending not to think about the woman outside, until he felt it. A shadow in the room. His breath caught. She was inside, standing at the edge of his bed, the woman in white, but no longer gentle, no longer veiled. Her face was scorched, skin melted and charred. Her eyes burned red like coals that refused to die. Her long golden hair fell like spider silk across her shoulders. She opened her mouth, and the voice that came out scraped against his mind. I told you. To return the book. She climbed onto the bed, no sound, no weight, and pressed her cold, dead hands around his throat. You took what you should not have touched. You ignored my warning. The hair, the page, the fire. It was never yours to carry. Roy clawed at her wrists, struggling to breathe. Her eyes stared straight through him. Then he croaked out a single plea. Why? Can't you take it yourself? Her grip loosened.
She stared at him, fire flickering behind her broken face. I cannot touch the book. It burns me. And just like that, she was gone. No footsteps, no breath, just the cold air and the empty space where death had leaned over him. At dawn, Roy stumbled from his apartment with the book wrapped in cloth. He didn't wait for answers. He didn't tell a soul. He walked until the city faded behind him, all the way to a burned-down graveyard on the edge of town. In the center was a tree, blackened and twisted. He laid the book there and whispered, I'm sorry. The wind picked up. The book's pages flipped once, then stopped. And behind him, a whisper, soft as ash. Thank you. Roy thought it was over. After returning the book to the scorched tree in the forgotten graveyard, he felt lighter, as if some invisible weight had been lifted from his chest. The air in his apartment no longer carried the smell of burnt cloth. The shadows no longer whispered. For the first time in weeks, he slept through the night. But peace, as he would soon learn, is often just a silence before the scream. 1 week later, a new tenant moved into the building. She was young, early 30s, quiet, polite. Her name was Layla, and she kept to herself. No family visited, no music played from her apartment, and she always wore a long grey coat even when the sun burned the pavement outside. Roy only spoke to her once, when she passed him in the hall. You live alone? He asked. Layla paused, smiled faintly, and replied, Not always. He didn't ask what she meant. On the 10th day, Roy walked past Layla's door and froze. There was a smell, not rot, not mold, something older, like ash and time. The same scent that had lingered around the book. That night, he had a dream. He stood at the blackened graveyard once more. The tree was gone. In its place, a deep pit. From the darkness below, a soft voice rose up. Not the woman from before, but a younger voice. It followed her. He woke with his pillow soaked in sweat, and on his nightstand, where nothing had been before, sat a single golden hair. 3 days later, Layla knocked on Roy's door for the first time. I found something strange in my closet, she said quietly, buried under the floorboards. She handed him a book, yellowed and frayed at the edges. I think somebody left it here, Layla whispered. Roy didn't answer, he just stared at her. The book's trying to speak to me, Layla said. In my dreams, but I can't understand it. Burn the book, Roy said quickly, and don't dig up anything else. Layla didn't return for 3 days. The neighbor from the second floor vanished. Her apartment was found locked from the inside, her dinner still on the table. But in the center of the floor was a scorched circle, and inside it, a book, closed, waiting. Police came, took statements, found nothing. Roy didn't say a word.